Hey guys, what's up? New Year's Eve morning, and I found a game that is really, really instructive that I want to share with you before I go off and do other things, getting ready for the new year. Hopefully, this will work. This game, I noticed one, uh, someone shared this on the Lee Chess board, and I noticed one of the most obvious issues with this game that I want to point out that is really important for us to grasp. So we're getting the Scandinavian here, right? So we've got a Scandinavian going, pushing the pawn, trying to disrupt the center. Just simply take it with the queen. And now notice, and we see this throughout the game. Black has two pieces out. Granted, one's an early queen move. I get that. But this is a really important point that is going to be essentially the factor that changes the nature of this game. So he brings his knight, putting the pin to the bishop and putting the pin to the queen. So they're both coming out. And question for the pin, what do you do? He moves back, and the computer says that bishop h5 was the better play here. And the computer says then he would come back and break the pin, and then you get your castling done. So at this point, had he gone this route, he would have had four of his pieces developed, all four of them, to just two of the white pieces. So that could have been very, very significant, right? As it is, he still has four pieces to two, but he did move his bishop back to here, and that was probably the better target square. I get that. That makes sense. So okay, so he's got the castling done. Now we're seeing a a long castle here. If he doesn't long castle, he's silly because that's how he set it up. And sure enough, we see the long castle and then d3. Okay, so you've got to establish your center squares here, right? That makes sense. Now here comes there's not a lot of activity in the center, but it is relatively open, but you are castled, and you always want to try to castle before endeavoring on an attack. And here comes the attack. They're going to push the pawns up. It looks like you got a bishop, you got a knight, you got a queen. So it makes sense that there's going to be an attack here, right? He is castled, so the attack is probably okay at this point. He's got to bring out more pieces. White has to bring out more pieces. There's no question White has to bring out more pieces. Gonna bump the bishop back. Now here comes the attack, the counter attack. And of course, he's coming for this square, which will give him a superb fork. So, I mean, I can understand the temptation. Here's the downside of this. There's your downside. You are just not developed enough. You are not close enough to the king to begin an attack, right? You're never going to win an attack with just a knight and a bishop. In fact, there can be no real attack with the knight and the bishop. But I understand the temptation, but this is what we have to learn how to not fall into. And now there goes one of the pieces. Okay, so he gets his fork. Queen comes over and he nabs a knight. Okay, however, watch Black's reaction. Bam, 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 bam. Whoop. Coming up. He's going to go ahead and carry on his attack. He has a much stronger basis for carrying on an attack to the king's side than White does monkeying around down here. That's just my observation. You still have the majority of your army not participating. This is critically going to be a failure for that reason. And that's what I want. This is why I wanted to show you this game. So the queen offers to exchange. Now, Smirnov, Grandmaster Smirnov, to take is a mistake. Absolutely. It's obvious that the attack is here. When you attack, especially on the king side, you want your queen. So to take is a mistake. Just because the offer's made doesn't mean you take that offer. Heavens no. Do not exchange the queen. And he doesn't. Very properly so. So now his knight's going to try to come back out. And here comes his side. And of course, you're going to chase the knight out, hitting the queen. Of course, he's not going to let that happen at all. Exchange the knight, and here comes the queen. Okay, now observe. At one point, white had gotten 3 pieces out, but he doesn't have 3 pieces out. He's only got 2, and here comes the attack. Notice the weak squares around the king, right? So it makes sense that he's attacking. You've got nasty stuff coming up here, potentially. Very nasty stuff coming up here. Let's see what happens. You get the pawn, okay. Move toward, and now, of course, you're going to protect the knight. Okay, so this is beginning to look a little bit spooky. I get that. Yeah, you've got 2 real good pieces, and they're a great combo next to the king. So is white going to be able to pull out a miracle? No, of course not. You don't freak out and begin attempting to try to get your queen up and over to trade off queens, because this looked scary, is exactly the wrong thing to do. You've got your attack going over here, right? Keep right on going this away. That's where you want to go. Fundamentally so. That makes sense. So you ignore the attack. He'll grab the file, hitting the pawn. We get that. But look at the attack. Now who's got the attack? Who's got the attack? Who's got the backup pieces to get their attack going, right? You got to check. He takes. Yes, he leaves the king open for a dynamic issue here, and the queen does take advantage of that. But now what? What's your follow-up? What are you going to do? You still have the majority of your pieces right here. They're staying home. They need to be out here in the field. You've only got 1 queen. 1 queen is not going to checkmate a king. Yes, your king side is obliterated down here. It doesn't matter because you've got the stronger attack. Now, he is going to make an escape hatch for the king because you know this is coming. You can see the power of his attack better simply because he's better prepared. And now the follow-up. This is the difference. He didn't develop enough to have much of a follow-up after his queen was trying to come down into here to attack the king. It's just a lone piece. But black does have the follow-up. Here we go. Check. Notice the bishop is also here. You've got a bishop to follow up, a knight, a queen, and you've got a potential queen knocking at the door. All because black was much better developed. You've got 1, 2. The pawn counts as a piece. That passed pawn is the most powerful piece on this chessboard right now. 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces into this attack. At most, white only had 2, and 1 of them was taken away. And that's the difference in the game. So the king escapes. Now watch this move. This is beautiful coordination with the knight and the queen here. But watch what happens next. The king does have, I mean, he can come out into here and he's gone. I mean, king gone. King gone. Sorry. I'm new at this electronic stuff. King can zip out there or wherever he wants to go, right? Wrong. Watch this move. I love that. Under promote in order to continue the forcing moves on the king. Fantastic. fantastic concept. Don't grab a queen, grab a knight. It doesn't give him a single move. White has no single move in order to regroup or to begin to bring another piece out into the game or to be able to put his piece on a better forcing move against the queen. Black doesn't give him any of that at all. The forcing move, beautifully played. I really like that. So, of course, you have to take, but there you go. The queen and the knight is a devastating piece. And notice this. Half his army, almost half his army, is still on the originating squares, although the rook did get a little active. So there's the lesson in a game like this. Now, these were 1,500 rated players. It doesn't matter because you don't have to have just grandmasters to teach us something important. I would say the main takeaway here, let's go back a little bit. The main takeaway, whoop, I went back too far, is he had a couple of pieces out. And I get it, you guys. It's exciting to get into the attack and you get all worked up and you start going after the king and you make a really, really spectacular fork, you know. That's a spectacular fork. That can get your adrenaline going for hunting more blood. I get that. Yeah. Whoa, look at this. Look how good I'm playing. Yeah, well, you're not playing good. You're leaving most of your army home. The excursion was nice. But it didn't accomplish a lot, right? That's the takeaway. That's the lesson takeaway on this. And it essentially, though it was a spectacular fork and bragging rights, it essentially fell apart simply because you don't have enough in it yet. See, at this point, over half the game is played, and he's got 4 pieces, and you've got 1. You don't have much of a center either. Yes, your queen's coming down, but that knight's not going to sit there and let you take it unless he gets a stronger developing move, which I do believe he did. Yeah. Okay, so he did let the queen take the knight because his attack was stronger. And he knew it. And why? Because the queen is pointing this direction. The other knight is pointing this direction. The pawn is going to be able to keep coming up. That's why. This is a one-piece attack. That's not going to work. The queen can't come to here. That square is covered. Twice, actually. So there's nothing here. If he had brought his bishop out first, instead of worrying about this move with the knight, if he had brought his bishop out, that would have been much more helpful. Bring both of your rooks into the game. In fact, you could probably double up the rooks. Bring the rook up, and then bring this rook over. Double up the rooks to really have this file. That could have helped. But instead, he kept doing one-piece attacks. It was a one-piece attack over here with the knight that gave him a spectacular fork that ended up being nothing because the attack is already here, and it's a deadly one. Then it's another one-piece attack. So there is the difference in this very interesting game. See that one-piece attack, that piece, that pawn right there is the most dangerous piece. Literally, seriously. And it's amazing that he played it wrong. The rook over, no, king should have taken it. But that leaves the king entirely exposed. You say, well, that wouldn't have helped him. Exactly right. It wouldn't have helped him. That's the point. It wouldn't have helped him because of this issue right there. Not enough pieces. So there's the lesson. I'm repeating myself now, but fun stuff to learn from as we explore other chess games and see what the factors are. And I'm not critiquing these guys because I'm better than them. No, I'm just saying here's what I noticed based on the chess lessons I'm studying and learning from The lack of development of all the pieces is one of the big setbacks for any attack, and you just can't do it that way. Get your pieces out is the lesson. And that is literally, that is the essential part of improving chess games. So, all right. Hey, thanks for watching this quick recording. I hope y'all have a happy new year. I saw this game this morning and I couldn't resist. I said, hey, I'm going to do a quick New Year's Eve video and wish all of you guys a happy new year. I'm looking forward to making hundreds of new videos this up and coming year. I'm doing live sessions now, so don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification button so that when the live sessions come up, I've been usually doing them on Saturdays, or if the other videos, when the other videos show up, you'll know that I'm got some new materials for you. So looking forward to it. We're also kind of picking up the Backyard Professor Club in Lichess. Come and join us and have some fun. We're getting built back up this year. We're going to get more activated. Life kind of scattered us all to the four winds, and now we're trying to get back together and have some fun chess. So chess is about learning and improving our lives, and it can have a way of helping us set goals in our life as well as with our chess games. So it's good stuff. That's what I'm saying. So as Levy at Gotham Chess says, not to imitate him, but get out of here.